Welcome to the future, where the glass is half full and you'll need new glasses, where you'll be jumping from conclusions.
The past is annulled, and a new future is born.
Never before in history has so much meant so little to so many. AD on the radio.
It's you and the senorita, whooper blowing up the tweeter, cause it's me up in the speaker. Back in the mama seat, top down like a plant, and the sound up in your ears, it is the dopest rhyme. Say I run a game like a
If you are going through hell, keep going. Winston Churchill. I don't know what it is about Churchill. I keep coming back to him over and over lately. Don't know why it is that I find him to be so inspiring of late. If you haven't gotten into his story around the time of the Second World War, I suppose what makes it inspiring is this is a guy that faced absolutely insurmountable odds. And look, everybody that played a part in the Second World War played a part. But there are many who say that the world would be a very different place today if Winston Churchill hadn't been the man he was, if he hadn't looked at, like we said, insurmountable odds and decided to keep on going. If you're going through hell, keep going. He didn't know how he was going to deal with the Nazi threat. He didn't know how he was going to deal with the Battle of Britain, the fact that they were being bombed at home. He didn't know how he was going to deal with being outclassed, outmanned, and outgunned. He didn't know how he was going to bring allies. He didn't know how he was going to bring Americans into the war. But he made it happen. He said when he was made prime minister that he felt he was walking with destiny. And truer words were never spoken. And his historical significance is well documented and well worth going over and over again. But the type of guy he was is what we can draw inspiration from no matter where we are in history, no matter where we are in our personal history. If you're going through hell, keep going. And a lot of people would say, in many ways, America is in its own kind of hell. There was another mass shooting this past weekend just gone by. Hopefully none of us ever get so desensitized that this kind of thing stops affecting us. The rate and frequency at which this happens grows and grows. 45-year-old Jason Dalton killed 6 people in 7 hours in Kalamazoo, Michigan, this past Saturday night just gone by. Why? Why did it last 7 hours? Because he was an Uber driver. He was picking up passengers in between shootings, which is absolutely insane. First, he killed a father and son looking at cars at a dealership, 53-year-old Richard Smith and his 17-year-old son, Tyler. Father and son. A rite of passage, looking at what is going to be one of your first cars, if not your first car, with your dad. Both lives extinguished in a senseless act of violence. Then he shot and killed 4 women outside a Cracker Barrel. 62-year-old Mary Lou Nye, 60-year-old Mary Jo Nye, 74-year-old Dorothy Brown, and 68-year-old Barbara Hawthorne. He also injured 2 other people, including a 14-year-old girl. One of those jarring aspects of this is the fact that the killings were completely random. He didn't know any of the victims. And the 2 groups of people didn't have anything in common with one another. He didn't have a criminal record. The folks over Uber say that he passed their background check. But he picked up rides in between his killings. He didn't shoot any of the people that he picked up for rides. So where's the logic? The most frightening thing is that there isn't any logic. At least not that we can see right now. We haven't discovered any kind of a manifesto. He started his rampage at 5:42 p.m. The cops caught him at 12:40 a.m. He's in custody now, facing 6 murder charges at his arraignment. And the lack of logic, the lack of sense, the lack of reason, we can't blame it on anything right now. But in these times where we are at a loss for words, stay on the side of humanity. If you're going through hell, keep going.
With the feelings all associated with the sad life that I was bringing, the tears and the singing. Being alive isn't a gift when there's so much you have missed.
Where the left and right come together for fundamental truths. AD on the radio, on Twitter at ADSXE.
I do what I want, when I want, how I want. Every day you're going and working, running that rat race at that pace in that place will leave a bad taste for anyone, everyone working day after day. So buddy, I gotta say for you, there's gotta be a better way, yeah. And you do what they told ya, company man, feel it, a mindless little soldier. How can you live like that and maintain your composure before it's begun? Your life's already freaking over, yeah. I do what I want, when I want.
In political news, Hillary had a rather good weekend in Nevada. And some people are saying it's because she had a key supporter that came over from the Bernie Sanders side. Who was it? Will Ferrell. Yeah, Will Ferrell was officially on Sanders' team. Until very recently, he was on this really long list of artists and cultural leaders for Bernie Sanders, which is like a long list of famous and respected musicians, actors, filmmakers, entertainers endorsing the Democratic Socialist to become president in 2016. Also on the list, his doppelganger, Chad Smith of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. In fact, all the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Susan Sarandon, Killer Mike, and Adam McKay, who collaborates with Ferrell on a regular basis. But it looks like Ferrell's name has been deleted from the Artist for Bernie list. The Sanders campaign hasn't responded, but the Clinton campaign official that got back to people that were questioning said, quote, "Yes, he's ours now. I don't know how to put this, but it's kind of a big deal." Very, very well played. And interesting to see the jump. I wonder if he's going to have to explain it in any way, shape, or form. Kanye West has been saying crazy things left, right, and center of late. And we're going to go through some Kanye quotes a little later on in the show. Or are they Kanye quotes? We're going to play a little game of Trump or Kanye later on in the show. Funkhauser, how do you think you're going to do with that?
Sounds hard.
Trump or Kanye?
Sounds hard.
Okay. All right. Well, we have a lot to get to today, but first, let's figure out what's going on in the world in our segment, My Witness News. Funkhauser, take it away.
This is My Witness News. In no way, shape, or form fair and certainly not balanced. And now, super producer to the stars, Barry Funkhauser.
No, it's okay. I don't need any intro time. I go right to it. No warning at all.
No problem.
Yeah.
See, in my mind,
No,
you've
we
got
always
your
get to the news this early in the show. No problem.
Yeah. Well, we had lately the news had been taking a bit of a backseat, and I felt like it was time we got back to what made the show great in the first place.
I
we were
appreciate
great,
that.
right?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. We always started the second segment with the news, and I just figured that every single day you came in with your finger poised,
ready to go
over the
button
news
almost
button, ready to go.
hit. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Do you have the Karate Kid button ready to go?
No, that's a good one to have. Isn't it?
See, anything else we can go over? If we open the door, will we be able to hear our team full of writers writing?
Hey, what the heck? Somebody deleted most of my stuff.
What the heck? Really?
Yeah, most of my stuff is gone. Just totally gone.
Wow.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Why would that happen?
We're having a real moment on the air. Like, if this was happening off the air, this is kind of a big deal. If someone came in and deleted a bunch of Funkhauser's stuff, he would be out for blood. And
all
him
my
going,
laugh
hey,
tracks, all my music beds, everything.
laugh
gone.
tracks. We really? Wow.
Yeah. Whoa. All right. Well, I'm handicapped today a little bit. I
Oh
think.
wow.
Might as well
Do
just
we
go
have,
back to bed.
Do we have Whoa Man Whoa, Bill Cosby?
Do we have Whoa Man? Yes, we have.
Whoa, man.
Yeah, we have that.
Whoa.
Oh, at least we have that.
But your guy's gone.
Which guy?
Who got fired and took their stuff with them? That's what I want to know.
Oh man.
Yeah, no Karate Kid today.
No Karate Kid?
No, it's gone. Totally gone.
What about Real Classy? Let's just get to the story.
Oh, man. Let me look at that. That might be... Yeah. Ooh.
Real classy. Why don't we just go to the story?
Jeez, that's
Okay.
there.
Oh,
Holy...
Wow.
I feel like I've been... diddled.
This is all too much.
What's going on here?
Where is this show going to be without our 2 seconds of interstitial audio? Nowhere, I tell you. And I wish I was being sarcastic, but I'm not. All right, you know what? Real Classy. Let's just get to the story. What is going on?
Jeez, what a
gosh.
Monday, man. July is the month when most people suffer a sex-related injury.
You know, I was kind of surprised to hear that. July is the month when most people suffer an injury getting bounce wow horizontal in the act of expressing adult affection. If I had to put money on it, I would have guessed February. I would have thought this is the month where most people sustained a sex injury because, trying to spice things up a little bit for Valentine's Day. You're trying to appreciate that person in your life as opposed to going, I'm trying to remember the last time I opened up a door in my home and you weren't the person standing behind it. Where's a grease cactus in the ball gag? All right, cool. But July is apparently the month when most people suffer a sex-related injury, not February. Damn you, sparklers! That's a mistake. I won't make an 8th time.
I guess that I should stop by saying that all of this story is true. And even though the names are changing, if you think that it is, the song is probably about you.
Don't get the blues, get all the news. We mean all of you guys out there in Radioland. All aboard!
He's back. AD on the radio.
Give it up, yeah, give it up, yeah. Bring this on, come on, come on. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. You do what we do. You do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. You do what we do. You do what we do. Well, listen again, coming again, taking it back to the place where I'm picking up the pen. And before I started, it's already a killer. When you know that you're good, I gotta say that it's a thriller. Hey, I do it my way.
Roy Shelton checked in on Twitter with regard to the Kalamazoo, Michigan. Nice, definitely a Monday. Kalamazoo, Michigan Uber driver shootings. He said he thinks the desensitizing factor is the scarier point than it is scarier at this point than the shootings. That we're getting used to it? Yeah. And Scott Briscoe says, not saying right or wrong, but ask yourself, under whose watch have mass shootings tripled? Hashtag conspiracy theory. Oof. I think the most troubling part of this is that we don't have an explanation. We need a narrative that allows us to rationalize tragedy like this. They were crazy, they were off their meds, they were a radicalized terrorist. And we've done shows and shows on gun control. And the only thing that is consistent with other mass shootings that have taken place is that universally they take place in the shooter's community when something like this happens. It is a bid for some sort of attention or significance within a group of people that are their communities. That's pretty much the only consistency we can see. Insanity. I mean, you have to be insane. You have to be insane to do something like this. I suppose, really, when we get down to it, it's a mental health issue. And it's an interesting one. It's a very, very interesting one, where we get into the ideas of insanity and evil. You ever hear the story of Leopold and Loeb? It's a famous one. Leopold and Loeb were two wealthy students at the University of Chicago back in the 1920s. They kidnapped and murdered a 14-year-old. They committed the murder. At the time, it was characterized as the crime of the century. Why'd they do it? As a demonstration of their intellectual superiority. They thought they were really smart, and they thought they could carry out a perfect crime. They kidnapped and murdered this 14-year-old kid, poured acid on his face, and shoved him in a drainage pipe because they wanted to prove that they could get away with the perfect crime. Both of them had everything going for them. Both of them graduated early from high school and went into college. Both of them came from exceptionally wealthy families. And they wanted to prove they could carry out the perfect crime. One of them was really into Nietzsche. That man versus Superman things, and that man versus Superman idea, and the idea that if you are one of Nietzsche's Superman, then traditional rules and laws need not apply to you. And I guess they were on a mad teenage tear to prove that they could do that. Flaunt the law in the most egregious way possible and end someone's life. And it's something of huge historical significance. Leopold and Loeb, there's a bazillion documentaries on it. There's a bazillion books, or you could read about it on Wikipedia and get the basic gist of it. Loeb's parents retained Clarence Darrow, who was the most famous lawyer on the face of the planet at the time. And he didn't get them off because everybody knew. Everybody knew what they'd done. They admitted it. They were proud of it. It was the strangest thing ever. Leopold and Loeb were the strangest things ever because they were giggling throughout their trial. And Clarence Darrow managed to save them from the gallows. The world was screaming for their death. He got them thrown in jail. But it raises a very, very interesting question with regard to people that do this sort of thing. Were they evil incarnate, or were they crazy? Now, this was in the 20s when mental health was not something that was nearly as closely examined as it is now. But it's an argument where you could chase your tail over and over again. If someone can display this sort of wanton disregard for human life, if they can kidnap and murder a 14-year-old kid just to prove they can, if they can shoot families, and between shooting families, drive around and pick up Uber fares, they have to be insane. There has to be some sort of insanity at work. That is not normal. That is an expression of something who knows maybe they don't even know. But I am of the belief that to be that evil, you have to be crazy. And then you wind up chasing your tail because, well, if someone's crazy, they can plead insanity and they won't be punished for their crimes in the same way. It's an interesting one, for sure. Nobody really knows. Nobody fully understands. And as I said earlier, the best we can do in these situations is recognize that as we try and make sense of things, there's some things that you can't make sense of. There is no meaningful explanation that's going to be a salve for the wound that we feel has been inflicted on our belief that humans are basically good. We just have to recognize there are things that we will never be able to understand and continue going. Like Churchill said, if you're in hell, keep going. Consider this a challenge to you to keep love for your fellow man in your heart, even when it's tested. Hard for us, sitting here, completely 100% removed from Kalamazoo, Michigan, from these families, from the community, from all of it. When you hear about something like this, it just boggles your mind. It makes you go, what kind of a world do we live in? People screaming for gun control, and as I've said, we've done shows and shows on gun control. And I'm not going to futilely argue that if he hadn't had a gun, this wouldn't have been as easy for him as it had. And how somebody with this sort of intent can get a hold of a gun is something that needs looking at. But then he passed all his background checks for Uber. We don't know if, at this point, I don't think we know if the gun was his, if he obtained it legally. He could have. He had no criminal record. The red flags that one would look for, you wouldn't know that they're there. And I believe in my heart, if this guy had a desire to randomly and senselessly kill people in his community, access to a gun wouldn't have mattered. It made it easier for him, I'm sure. But he would have found a way. He would have found a way to take lives. He would have made it happen. And so, where do we go from a place like this? I think Roy Shelton brings up an awesome point when he says, I think the desensitizing factor is scarier at this point than the shootings. And unfortunately, for some, the most shocking was that an Uber driver was doing it, not the shootings themselves. I think we pay attention to that sentiment and go, who are we that we're more freaked out by the fact that it was an Uber driver, and that's making us wonder how we're getting from A to B this weekend, as opposed to, oh gosh, what's going on with us and what can I do? What can I do in my daily life to make the world less like that and more like the place I know that we all want to see? So like I said, as frightening as it is, as demoralizing as it is, what we do in this situation is we double down on love and humanity, because that's all we've got. All right, then. Funkhauser, let's continue with the news. What were we talking about? Sex-related injuries? That's an easy segue.
Do we even have news? Hold on, I have to use the old machine here. Dial in.
Expanded announcement system.
Oh, there it goes. Okay.
There we go.
Man. Fire up the gas engine one.
Okay.
This one needs to be plugged in.
Yeah.
This just off the teletype.
Uh-huh.
Susan Sarandon says she's voting for Bernie Sanders over Hillary Clinton because she doesn't vote with her vagina.
Although at her age, she probably could. Good news for the person who uses the voting machine right after her. Go on.
Pope Francis says building a wall on the Mexican border would not be a Christian thing to do.
Yeah. He said that Donald Trump isn't Christian. Building a wall isn't a Christian thing to do. Especially because it would keep out a lot of guys named Jesus. I disagree. I mean, the Pope is the guy on earth that has allegedly got the tightest relationship with the big guy upstairs. But I disagree. I think is Donald Trump a Christian or not? The indicators to me are there that he is. Only because Christians help out the poor and the unfortunate. And look at who Trump had on the last season of Celebrity Apprentice. You tell me that wasn't an act of Christianity. Go on.
Donald Trump says it was disgraceful for Pope Francis to question his faith.
Is he, going after the Pope now? Is he going after the Pope? Because, initially I was like, ooh, let's see how the Donald handles this one. Is he going to go after the Pope, or is he going to deflect it in some way, shape, or form? And he did the deflection thing initially, where he was he blamed it on the Mexican government for turning the Pope against him, I think. And now, is he sort of going after the Pope? I'm not sure.
I think it's the other way around, maybe.
Well, the Pope's going after him, and look, if anybody voices even the tiniest complaint about Donald Trump, he goes after him hardcore on Twitter, Rosie O'Donnell style. Disgusting fat pig, revolting person inside and out, huge. I mean, have we seen it? Has he gone on the record saying that Francis as a pope is low energy, the weakest pope we've ever had? One thing, though, Trump did compliment the Vatican's beautiful walls. Yeah. The Vatican, which is its own Vatican City, the Vatican, it's its own country. It's got its own currency. It's got its own military. It's its own everything. And there's a giant wall around it. Not saying, just saying. Go on, what else?
Hillary Clinton campaigned on the Las Vegas Strip last week.
Yeah. Yep. Hopefully that's the only time you're going to hear the words Hillary Clinton and strip used in the same sentence. But she did, and it appeared to pay off for her big time in Nevada. Go on.
Jeb Bush has dropped out of the presidential race. Sorry, Mom.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. And that's today's installment of News That Should Have Happened 3 months ago. Do you think if he hadn't been a Bush, he would have done better?
I don't know. That's a hard one.
I mean, that's the complaint that has been leveled at him more than anything else. We're not supposed to be royalty. This isn't supposed to be a dynasty. And, of course, you could say the same thing about Hillary. But the Bush family has had a bit more of a run in government than the Clintons have. I mean, the Clintons are up there. But, when you've had two presidents and you're working on a third from the same, that have all sprung from the same loins, then, that's where people start to go, this seems like there's opportunity for corruption here. And they could be right. I don't know. And I wonder sometimes if Jeb would have done better if he wasn't a Bush. But then would Jeb even have been on the radar if he wasn't a Bush? I don't know. Don't know. His brother George, not available for comment, but only I think because SpongeBob was on at the time, so we're not sure what he thinks. Go on. One more piece of news, Funkhauser.
Hillary Clinton won the Nevada primary.
Yeah, we knew this. Sanders was red-faced, furious, and spluttering. And then he heard about the results in Nevada. It's funny because he's angry literally all the time, which is why people like him.
With puppies in my face and Dad gotta join the human race. Time for a yawn and a stretch and a walk, you see. They know my order at the restaurant across the street. That's why when I shuffle in, my coffee's already waiting for me.
Now, more AD on the radio.
Back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you a musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD again. Nobody rock a party better than me. Back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you a musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD again. Nobody rock a party better than me.
Alrighty then. Still to come in the show, we play our game Trump or Kanye. I will read Funkhauser a quote. You can play along at home. And we try to figure out who it's attributed to, Kanye West or Donald Trump. It is not as easy a game to win as you would think. Is that frightening? Is that a frightening indictment of where we are in society? Damn skippy it is. We need more responsible rappers. Go on, Funkhauser. Let's get into some news first.
Hillary Clinton had a good weekend in Nevada. Did you see that?
Yeah. She did a little campaigning. She got out among the hookers and the gamblers, and it all paid off for her when she won the Nevada primary. She had a good weekend. First Clinton to do that without visiting the Moonlight Bunny Ranch. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Go on.
Did you hear her barking like a dog, by the way? Last
oh,
week?
No, I heard about it. Do you have the audio of that? Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't it be great if somebody running for office said something, we could have an immediate reaction as to whether it was true or not? Well, we've trained this dog, and the dog, if it's not true, he's going to bark. I'm trying to figure out how we can do that with the Republicans. You know, we need to get that dog and follow them around, and every time they say these things, like, oh, you know, the Great Recession was caused by too much regulation, arf, 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 you know?
Do you think she just riffed that on the top of her head, or did she have, was somebody paid to come up with that? Like, was somebody paid to come up with, what you do is you say, you wish you had a dog that would bark every time an untruth came out of the Republicans, and then you should bark like a dog? Like, it sounds like the beginning of an SNL sketch is what it sounds like. And I'm trying to figure out if she came up with it on her feet, on her own, if that was something that she planned on doing, or was it something that she paid a speechwriter to come up with? What you got to do is this. You got to come up with this conceptual idea of a Republican watchdog and then bark in a not very threatening way. It sounds like the dog that's keeping an eye on the GOP was of the toy variety. Yeah, definitely under 20 pounds. Like, I would be allowed to have that dog in my apartment complex because it was a non-threatening breed that was under 20 pounds. It was 10 out of 10 for style, but minus several million for good thinking, I think. That said, it didn't slow her down because, well, you know, she won the Nevada primary. So maybe we do need a Pekingese barking every single time something questionable comes out of a Republican's mouth. Oh, very good. And it's very good, and it conjures up some really, really uncomfortable images in my mind's eye of what a Clinton bedroom is like. I'll be spending the rest of the day trying to squeegee that out of my brain. Go on, quick, more news before help me stop picturing it, Funkhauser. I can't stop picturing it!
This will help. Mitt Romney endorsed Marco Rubio.
Oh, Mittens endorsed Marco Rubio. Which, by the way, affects the presidential race about as much as the turkey sandwich I had for lunch yesterday. Who cares? Go on.
A record number of people have applied to be astronauts.
Yep, true. I think NASA attributes the surge in people wanting to leave the planet because it, in fact, looks like Donald Trump could actually be president. Have you heard there's like an island in Nova Scotia that the Canadians have opened up to Americans that want to leave if Trump becomes president?
It's where we put our trash.
You know, look, a lot of people are going to say this is not presidential. Not presidential. But if you had to pick a president, the people on the right, that the GOP, that Republicans wave, if you had to pick a president that the GOP waves flags about, it would be Ronald Reagan. Many regard him as one of the greatest presidents in history. And as much as you don't want to take Donald Trump seriously because it seems like making fun of Rosie O'Donnell on Twitter is not a presidential thing to do, I would ask you to bear in mind that Ronald Reagan got his start playing second fiddle to a monkey in a movie called Bedtime for Bonzo. True story. I watched it the other day. I was like, this is a thing. This really happened, right? I've been joking about it on the radio for a long time. Never actually seen it. It's on YouTube. You can just watch it. Ronald Reagan played second billing to a monkey. Bedtime for Bonzo. So bear that in mind next time you look at what Donald Trump is saying and doing. That doesn't seem presidential. Everybody has to come from somewhere. But it is, well, yeah, it is. It's interesting because the Trump train not slowing down at all. Chugga, 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 huge is basically what's happening. Left, right, and center. He's the guy ahead of the game. Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz. Got to be scratching their heads going like, the guy who's really scratching his head is Jeb. Going like, how is this even possible? How is this even possible? And how is it possible that I'm the one who's the embarrassment to the family? What the hell? Go on. More news.
Okay. Nissan has invented an office chair that automatically pushes itself in.
Oh, really? Office chair that automatically pushes itself in. That's awesome because, if there's one problem your average American faces these days, it's that we're all getting way too much exercise. It was a part of a challenge to see who could waste the most possible amount of time and money. Like, is this the point we're at? Have we really become too lazy to push our own office chairs in? You ever hear when Ellen talked about, those dissolving breath strips? Yeah. You ever had one of those? Yeah. Ellen did a great bit on those where she was like, at what point have we become too lazy to suck? Like, I'm just going to stand here, put it on my tongue. I've had a hard day. Also, I don't want to push my own office chair in. Go on, what else?
Kris Jenner was loudly booed when she introduced Culture Club at a concert in L.A. Saturday night.
Yeah. Boy George back up in the game. Kris Jenner introducing him. Loudly booed. Apparently she was in tears afterwards. Or it could have been Botox leaking from her face. Hard to tell at this point.
I guess that I should stop by saying that all of this story is true. And even though the names are changing, if you think that it is, the song is probably about you. Tell me when as a kid that had so much promise, but it all went wrong the day he popped his first pill. Tell me when as a kid who was talented and smart, but ever since the day he started going downhill. Wasted again, just another night in your never-ending story. Wasted again, just another night in your never-ending story. You just can't stop, you just can't quit, and all your friends are so sick of it. Wasted again, just another night in your never-ending story. So tell me, do you remember all that lying to your friends? Like when you stole my guitar and you sold it so you can eat that Vicodin. How does it feel to be knowing that you let everybody who cares about you let them down? So he doesn't even know he's kidding himself about why no one takes his calls or ever wants him around. Wasted again, just another night in your never-ending story. Wasted again, just another night in your never-ending story. You just can't stop, you just can't quit, and all your friends are so sick of it. Wasted again, just another night in your never-ending story. Tommy's going to jail after he got caught holding for somebody else. You know it's never his fault, and when Tommy gets out, nothing changes at all. And we wait for the call saying that Tommy is gone. Tommy quit for a week, but that just didn't take. And his biggest mistake was saying
There's something happening here, and you should know what it is. The Dumbing Up of America. Now, more AD on the radio.
you know you love the sound.
So this narrative that money buys elections, which I think was 100% true in the past, that time seems to have come and gone. There was this whole idea that you needed campaign finance reform because special interest groups were funding political campaigns. And when you got to be president, it was time to pay the piper. And what good does that do to the average American? Little to none. Campaign finance reform, big deal. But one of the heartening things to come out of the digital age is the fact that you don't really need as much money to buy elections. Okay, I think you still need vast sums of money, yes. But it's not any kind of a guarantee. This narrative that money buys elections, I don't know how much Trump has spent. He says he spent almost nothing. I'm going to guess that he spent more than he's saying. But Jeb and his campaign, his super PAC, spent around $150 million, according to the folks over at Politico, to win 4 delegates. 93,676 votes in Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina, and 4 delegates. And that's $1,601 for every vote. And $37.5 million for every delegate. So having all the money on the face of the planet didn't stop Jeb from getting a Trump taken all over him, so to speak. Now, where are we with Trump? Let's bear in mind, strong showing so far, undeniably strong showing. He's out in the front. But it's a marathon. It's not a 100-yard dash. South Carolina GOP primary in the books. That's 103 of the 2,472 delegates. That's only around 4%. It's very telling, but it's only around 4%. Krauthammer, shortly after Trump was called the winner of the South Carolina primary, Krauthammer looks more like the Grinch than Jim Carrey. You would have just had to slap some green face paint on him. You wouldn't have had to bother with all the prosthetics. There's something about his mouth. I don't know what it is. Next time you see a picture of Krauthammer, who is one of the most respected political pundits around, and definitely a conservative, but one of the most respected political pundits around. Next time you see him, imagine his face painted green, and you've got the Grinch. Not that it takes away from his obvious intelligence, but he had this to say. He said, shortly after Trump was called the winner of the South Carolina primary, he said, it seems what the Trump vote is saying right now, it's much more of a protest vote. I think he kind of hit it, and we've been talking about this on the show for months. It's much more of a protest vote, saying we're sick of the status quo. We're sick of career politicians. We just want some kind of change. We were promised hope and change with the last president, and we don't feel like we got any of that. But he said it's more of a protest vote, and whether it'll translate into this is really the guy that you want in the end, we're going to see. But we'll only see it when we get the winnowing of the field. I think we're going to get the field winnowed, possibly by Carson Kasich. He predicted Bush was going to drop out of the race. And he basically thinks it's a 3-way tie. He thinks it's a 3-way tie between Cruz, Rubio, and Trump. It's a dead heat. And it's interesting. If you look at the numbers, if you break them out, there's still more Republicans voting non-Trump than Trump. What does that say? Well, it says that Trump might be that unicorn, that guy that could cross political party lines. and get people from the left and the right. I saw a Democrats for Trump t-shirt this past weekend just gone by. That was an interesting one. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We will see how it all plays out. So, Funkhauser, you had all of your pieces of audio deleted from the library?
Yeah. You remember that thunder? Gone.
Yeah. Oh. Thunder would have been perfect. Hey, all my stuff is missing.
Yep. That's where I went right now. I got this.
Idiot.
Yeah, that'll work.
Whoever did this, I will find you and kill you.
Yeah, whatever. Whatever.
I don't have any audio to play to back that up, but
yeah, you don't have anything to make.
I will
yourself sound
find
more...
you and I will kill you. Yes.
Did we lose? Did we lose? Alex Jones crying.
Yep.
We lost Alex Jones crying because
everything.
Oh man.
Well, almost everything.
Trump raises an awful lot of questions about immigration and the U.S. immigration policies. And I think one of the things that is interesting about immigration being such a big issue is that it's making people take a bit of a closer look at what the life of an immigrant is actually right. I don't know if you caught Vladimir Kamano talking about his immigrant dad getting his first debit card, but it's interesting stuff. I said it's interesting stuff. Click. I said it's...
What?
You know what?
What?
Between the internet here not working.
Oh, your side's broken too?
My side's broken too.
Let's just go to the carnival with the rest of these.
We're going to play Trump or Kanye. Building Wi-Fi is out, so I can't even work off my phone.
Again, Kanye's getting the shaft. See,
so
we're trying to
unfair.
help you out, but apparently you got to call AT&T Uverse.
Yeah. Hey, you're going to end someone's life when you get out of here, right?
Yeah, it's probably happening right now as we speak, because I've sent some emails to @all. You know that? That little trick?
Yeah,
@ everyone. I did that. So it's either going to be me or them. The Alamo is here. I'm sure everybody can relate, you know? You have a little office cubicle or whatever, and you save your documents. Somebody comes in there and delete.
Wait. Is it... No, I thought the internet was working for a second. Yeah, why would we need internet that works? Oh, we have that. That's good. We have
couple things.
Yeah. The surf's pumping and the chicks are hot, so we're kind of late, dude.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
All right, let's just finish up the news then.
Fine. That's in the news. A record number of people have applied to be astronauts, I told you.
Yeah, we got to that.
Did you hear about...
leave the planet if Trump becomes president.
Federal investigators say they're growing impatient with Apple's refusal to provide technical assistance.
Yeah, well, get in line, said everybody hanging out all weekend long at the Genius Bar.
A woman named Lovely Robinson was arrested for biting a Wendy's manager because her order was screwed up. Did you hear about this?
Yeah. She lost her mind, man. Lovely Robinson in Virginia, I think it was. Lovely Robinson in Virginia. I think she ordered 2 chicken sandwiches, or she ordered 4 chicken sandwiches. She only got 2. She took exception to that. She took it as a personal insult and jumped over the counter and bit the Wendy's manager. Lovely Robinson of Virginia. And other than that, we don't really know anything about her. Oh, son of a bitch.
What? Did you just get bitten by a Lovely Robinson on that end or something?
No. Oh, right. That audio. Now I can't get it to stop playing. That's all I hear. You can't hear it because nothing effing works around here. But, oh, jeez. Anyway. Yeah, Lovely Robinson. Lovely Robinson bit a woman, bit a Wendy's manager because she was given 2 chicken sandwiches instead of 4. And that's really all we know about her. Not much is known about Lovely Robinson other than her parents like to name their kids ironically. Go on.
Oh, I wish. An excited crowd in Mexico almost knocked over the Pope.
Yeah. Yeah. There's days where it's not, honestly, it's not worth chewing through the restraints. Building Wi-Fi is out.
You want to start over?
The actual computer here doesn't work.
Let's just redo the whole thing.
Yeah. Well. So, I'm sorry. What were you saying about an excited crowd in Mexico?
An excited crowd in Mexico almost knocked over the Pope.
Yeah. Haven't seen a virgin take a hit like that since Tim Tebow was a Bronco. Go on.
A Florida woman beat up her husband after discovering he owned a vibrating sex toy.
Yeah. Apparently they were moving. They were putting stuff in boxes, and she was like, hold the hell on. What's this? Something you want to tell me? There's something from his past. I guess they hadn't been married all that long. Found out he owned a vibrating sex toy and beat him up pretty bad. Like, visibly damaged his face. Mm. The evidence in this case is going to leave the courtroom buzzing.
Donald Trump says Melania will advise him if he acts inappropriately.
Yeah, he used the word, he used a word to describe the nether regions of...
Careful, I don't have that button anymore.
Oh, yeah, you don't have the button anymore. Donald Trump, I think this was... He called Ted... Was it Ted Cruz? He called the euphemism for a woman's nether regions that rhymes with wussy on TV. And people are like, you can't say that. It's not presidential. And also, please don't say that on TV. We're going to get fined out the yang if you continue to say that on TV. Yeah. So in response to that, he said, well, okay, Melania will advise me if I act inappropriately. Right. Because, who knows more? Who understands and knows American sensibilities more than a mail-order bride from Slovenia? Makes total sense. Go on.
Elton John and Katy Perry will perform a Hillary Clinton fundraiser.
Does it count as an endorsement if you're willing to play at a fundraiser? I mean, essentially it's what you're saying. But when it comes to celebrity endorsements, she's doing pretty well. Elton John and Katy Perry going to be playing that Hillary Clinton fundraiser. Elton John, I think, was booked by her campaign manager. I'm going to go out on a limb and guess Katy Perry was booked by Bill.
Or about to be.
And by booked, we mean something involving a cigar. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you for being a part of our radio family as we struggle through the indignities of literally everything in our studios going wrong. We'll be back tomorrow. We will do this all over again. You are the bestie best. Have a great one.